Hey everyone, it's Nessa and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be one of the cringiest videos I'm ever going to record. It is the how I did my makeup in high school. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know this tag is really old and I know that, a lot of people have done it in the past year, 2 years or so. I mean, I'm new and I've been seeing a lot of my old pictures through my phone. I've just been going through them and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's how I used to do makeup, and it just makes me like, it's just kind of cool to see, where you start and then where you end up and where you're going to be going. So, yeah, there's just, honestly, I'll show you a lot of pictures in these videos, like some pictures up here and everything. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm going to be actually recreating a look that I did my sophomore year-ish, and then one from around the later parts of my high school year, like my senior year. But yeah, so if you guys want to see how I did my makeup in high school, maybe get a good laugh out of it, then just keep watching. Okay, so I actually found some of the stuff I used to use in high school. I was a big believer in the Maybelline Nudes palette. As you can see, I use this every single day. It's all beat up. And the thing fell off of it because I took this palette with me every day, and I was so rough with my backpack, so it's just like it always broke. I dipped into so many of these shadows. This one I actually used for my brows, and then I used all of these colors pretty much on a daily basis. And then on special occasions, I would find a way to make it a special occasion. I used this little trio from the Wet n Wild. Oh my lord. I used this little trio from the Forever 21 brand, and it is like a charcoal gray with a silver and then a white color in the middle. And I would try and use at least these two throughout the years, and actually use it up to my senior year as well. So I think I'm going to be recreating the silver look for my sophomore year, and then I'll be recreating the gold nudes look for my senior year. So I also used to use the e.l.f. primer as well, but I don't actually have that. I think I threw it away. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of my Wet n Wild primer on my eyes, just a little bit. It had the similar consistency to it, but I didn't like the e.l.f. one looking back on it. I thought it was like, the best thing in the world at the time. But yeah. I actually started with the lid color first and didn't even work anything in my crease. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Taking flat e.l.f. brush and this silver shade right there. I'm going to dust that all over my eyes. Flashbacks are so real. I have no idea why, but I was obsessed with silver shadow. I thought silver shadow was the best, and I was just like, oh, I need to have either a bright silver smoky eye or whatever, or I needed to go like completely gold and bronzy. And yeah, so oh my god, I don't know what I was thinking in high school. I just was experimenting, trying to find my way, and like some people actually really liked my makeup, and now that I look back on it, I was like, why? It wasn't anything special. It looked so weird and so bad. I winged everything out so big, and I just made everything look like, oh gosh. So I'm just gonna get a little crease brush and get that charcoal-y gray shade, and I'm just gonna pack it on the outer corner of my eye. I used to either do one of two things. When I did my makeup, I either would do it in the car when my dad was driving me to school, or I would, oh my god, sorry, I'm looking at it right now, or I would do it in the morning because I had to start school really early, or got to school really early because my dad started work at 7. So I would have to get to school like 6:30, so whatever I didn't finish in the car, I would finish at the little tables in the little lunch area and I would meet my friends in the morning, and yeah, I would be finishing up my makeup there. So I actually still use the eyeliner that I used in high school now. So I'm going to be using that. This is my Wet n Wild eye kohl. And I would just line my eyes. Either I had this liner or the e.l.f. liquid liner. Okay, so for my foundation, it was a little cringy when I show you guys what I used. I used this e.l.f. concealer pot, and look how light that shade was. And look at my face. I used this for foundation, guys. I got a flat brush, wiped it all over my face, and then I would set it with this CoverGirl powder. And I mean, the CoverGirl powder I still use, and it's pretty decent. But the fact that I used something that could be worn on someone 4 shades lighter than me is kind of cringy. Like, oh my god. So I'm not going to use that concealer because I know that it's really old and I don't want my skin to really break out. So I'm just going to use some of my LA Pro concealer. And then for mascara, I would put loads of mascara on my eyelashes. What I used was the orangey tube of the CoverGirl mascara. I used a whole bunch of CoverGirl in high school. I just thought, you know, easy, breezy, beautiful, CoverGirl. Okay guys, so this is me recreating one of the looks I used to do in high school, but this is at me being a sophomore at this time. So sophomore year, you tried your best. So now let's move on to senior year. Actually did learn in between those years, and I moved up to actually using a primer on my face. And the primer that I used was the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. Looking back on it, I actually really don't like this. It has a silicone-y feel, and I just felt like, you know, I don't know, like, it's really smoothing and everything, but because I have oily skin and I had very oily skin in high school, it just did not work the best, and I was shiny constantly. And guys, this is what I used for my foundation. The CoverGirl True Blend in Honey Beige. Why I thought I was a beige shade, I don't know. But guys, this was the shade of it. Like, look how light that was. Like, look at it compared to my face. Like that. I'm actually just gonna use my Maybelline Madame Poreless, just because that that foundation's really old, and I don't want my skin to break out. But I just wanted to show you guys, like, you know, that's what I used. I always did my face first, and then I moved on to my eyes. And so I'm actually taking that same powder in this palette that I used, and I think this is actually the brush I use as well. I've had this brush for a while, but I mean, it's still in good condition. Either that or I replaced it already. But I would go pretty heavy on my brows. So I actually used that same e.l.f. primer on my eyes, but again, don't have it, so back to Wet n Wild. And here I actually did set my, set my primer. I would use this shade right here, this nice creamy shade, and that would usually be like my first color, but I didn't take it all the way up to my brows. I just kept it right on my lid. I would use this shade for my first shade in my crease. Oh, it's so cool tone, and I didn't even realize it until now. Like, I really did use this. And I then took this brownie shade right here and put that like a little bit lower, but I actually kind of just smoked that out on the outer part of my eyes. I would get sometimes this nice shimmery brown shade and also kind of put that out there and make it look fake, like a shimmer. Honestly, I thought that this palette, when it came out, was all that in a bag of chips. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, guys, the nude palette, you have to get the nude palette. It's beautiful. It's so good. And now looking at it, I'm just like, it was good for the time being. The lid. There were two actually, no. There was just one. I use this shade, this bronzy shade for my lid pretty much every single day. And this color was actually one of my favorites. And I think this color is actually still a very pretty color. Oh my gosh, but it's like I can't see it. Okay. There you go. But it was a nice shade. It's a nice brown color. For the highlight shade, I would get that same shade that I used before and put it all up here. I guess that's how I cleaned up my brows. I used to do the concealer trick, you know, but that's how I would clean up my brows. Just to make it a little bit more smoky, I actually put a little bit of black on the outer corner. Gave the eye a little bit of a pop in the front, in the corner, so I got this shade, this nice gold shade. I bounced around between lipsticks. I loved and was obsessed with red lipsticks or berry lipsticks, and I had this one from e.l.f. and I still have it. It's called cranberry, so I would use this on my lips. Yeah, this is how I did my makeup in high school, guys. Looking back at these pictures, it just kind of brought me back into that mindset, just like, oh my gosh, you know, like I thought that this looked really good. At times, I think I did a pretty good job, but these other times, I'm just kind of like I said, it looked good for the time being, but I'm glad that I know what I know now. That's a part of life. You grow and you get better. You're not going to be good at everything as soon as you start it. So, you know, it's just you have to put time and effort into it and you'll get there. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys got a little bit of a laugh watching me cringe and kind of go back down memory lane. And, you know, I want to know, what was you guys' makeup experience like in high school? Did you guys, you know, go to school with a full face? Did you guys, you know, what was your favorite colors? You know, that kind of stuff, you know. What are some things that you guys did that you look at and you kind of regret now? But, you know, just if you want to, let me know in the comments. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.